Most people think a lemon is just good for detox or weight loss or maybe a sore throat, but they miss the deeper lesson. The truth is, lemon doesn't just cleanse your body, it reveals what doesn't belong. In Shaolin training, we're taught not to look at what's easy, but what's true. A lemon is sharp, sour, honest, just like self-discipline. It doesn't soothe you, it wakes you up. And when you combine it with the wrong foods, not only does your body suffer, your energy becomes conflicted, your clarity fades. That's the hidden danger, not the lemon itself, but the way it's used. Most people mix it with things that seem harmless: milk, sugar, white rice. But these combinations work against your energy, against your digestion, against your mind. For elders, those in the second half of life, this is even more important. As the body slows, the spirit comes forward. But if the body is confused, the spirit can't rise. In this video, I will guide you through the 3 foods you must never mix with lemon, and more importantly, I will show you why. You will learn how digestion isn't just biology, it's philosophy, it's energy, it's wisdom. This is not about fear, it's about refinement. So stay with me until the end. Because once you see how food can either support or sabotage your inner fire, you won't look at a lemon or your daily habits the same way again. You are watching The Limitless Shaolin. I welcome you here. If you find value in ancient wisdom, in mastering the self one choice at a time, subscribe now. Your journey begins with awareness. In the Shaolin tradition, aging is not seen as a decline, it's seen as a sacred transition. When youth fades, a different kind of strength begins to rise. The kind that doesn't come from muscle, but from presence. The body no longer moves as fast, but that slowness is a gift. It creates space. Space to feel, space to listen, space for the spirit to speak. In those moments of stillness, you begin to notice things others miss. How certain foods leave you heavy, how certain combinations drain you instead of nourishing you, and how deeply your energy is affected by what enters your body. This is where food becomes more than fuel. It becomes a form of self-respect. You're not just feeding organs, you're feeding life force. Lemon, for example, is cleansing by nature, but combine it with dairy and the purity of that cleansing turns to conflict. Combine it with white starches and your inner fire is dampened, not in theory, in feeling. The ancient monks believed digestion was a mirror of thought. If the gut is confused, the mind becomes foggy. If digestion is smooth, the mind becomes clear. This is not about rigid rules or modern diets. This is about tuning into your own system. Choosing food that supports your stillness, letting go of what interrupts it. With age comes the opportunity to master this, because you no longer crave speed, you crave peace, you crave alignment. That's where true discipline lives, not in force but in refinement, in knowing what to walk away from, in sensing when something, no matter how common, is no longer meant for your body, and honoring that every day. When lemon meets milk, something strange happens. It curdles. You can see it with your own eyes. What was once smooth becomes broken, separated, unsettled. But this isn't just a chemical reaction in a cup. It's a reflection of what happens inside the body. Lemon is sharp. It brings clarity, cleansing, direction. Milk is soft, heavy, cooling, nurturing in the right context, but dense when the body is already slowing with age. When they mix, there's no harmony. The digestive system doesn't know how to respond. It starts to resist, then to react. The gut becomes a battlefield. In Shaolin teachings, confusion is the enemy of mastery. Not just confusion of the mind, but of the body. When your digestion is confused, your energy scatters, your thoughts become cloudy, your discipline weakens. And so, mindful eating begins with clean pairings. Not strict diets or modern trends, but combinations that make sense energetically. Combinations that support clarity. The monks are trained to see food, not just as nutrition, but as vibration. Each ingredient carries its own rhythm. When 2 rhythms clash, you feel it. Sometimes not right away, but over time. Fatigue, bloating, irritability, even sadness. For elders, the stakes are higher. The body is more sensitive, the energy more subtle. What once felt fine at 30 becomes overwhelming at 70. That's not weakness, that's refinement. That's the body asking you to simplify, to purify, to protect your inner space, to eat as you would train, with attention, with care, with purpose. And it starts with something as simple as asking, does this combination bring harmony or confusion? then listening deeply to the answer. There's a reason monks avoid sugar, not because it's evil, but because it plays tricks on the mind. It offers a quick comfort, then takes more than it gives. Lemon on its own is clean. It wakes up the system, cuts through stagnation, supports clarity. But mix it with sugar, and its nature changes. The sharp becomes sticky, the clean becomes chaotic. What could have been medicine becomes confusion. The body doesn't just digest food, it absorbs energy, and sugar carries a restless energy, one that pulls you out of the present moment. In Shaolin practice, clarity is sacred. A clouded mind cannot hold stillness. It cannot focus. And without focus, there is no discipline, no inner strength, only drift. The danger with sugar is not just physical, though that matters, especially with age. The deeper danger is spiritual. Because when cravings lead, willpower fades, decisions weaken. You stop choosing from the higher self and start chasing momentary comfort. For seniors, this is especially important. The second half of life is meant to be quieter, more intentional, but sugar disturbs that. It agitates, it tempts, it distracts. Even small daily indulgences, when unchecked, become habits, and habits shape energy. So the discipline here is gentle but firm, not from shame but from understanding. Choosing less sugar isn't about punishment, it's about peace. It's about clearing space inside the body so that spirit has room to rise, so that breath is steady, so that sleep is deep, so that silence is nourishing, not empty. Sweetness isn't found in food. It's found in stillness, in balance, in waking up and knowing your choices are aligned with your deeper path. And that begins by guarding your energy, one quiet decision at a time. Digestion is fire, not just metaphorically, but energetically. It's the flame that transforms food into life force. In ancient medicine, this fire must be protected, nourished, respected. But certain foods pull it in different directions. Take white rice or heavy starches. They're dense, soft. They sit in the body like wet logs on a flame, dulling it, slowing it down. Now add lemon, which brings heat and movement, and you've created conflict. One part of the body wants to burn, the other wants to sink. This is what the ancients called damp heat, a state of inner confusion, not quite inflammation, not quite cold, just stuck, sluggish, heavy. You may not notice it right away, but over time it shows up. Cloudy thoughts after meals, low energy in the afternoons, restlessness in the evening. The body feels burdened, the spirit doesn't settle. Shaolin doesn't treat the body like a machine. It sees it as a field of energy, something to be kept in balance. Every food either brings harmony or disharmony. That's the only real question. So instead of forcefully mixing opposites, fiery lemon and dampening starch, ask yourself what supports flow, what leaves the body calm, clear, awake. Discipline isn't just about what you say no to. It's about learning to feel what's right before reason can explain it. With age, this intuition sharpens. The body starts speaking in subtle ways. Listen, respect what it tells you. Let digestion be smooth, not strained. Harmony is the goal, not restriction, not excess, just balance. A quiet, steady state where your energy supports your mind supports your choices, and your choices reflect who you've become. That's the practice. Simple, patient, and deeply wise. There's a quiet wisdom in how you eat, not in the number of meals, not in the ingredients on your plate, but in the way you sit, the way you chew, the way you notice. In Shaolin life, food is not rushed. It's not background noise. It's part of the training, a moment to return to the body, a way to practice awareness, even in the simplest act. You don't need a monastery to do this. You need presence. Before the first bite, pause, feel the texture, the weight of the food, the scent. This is not indulgence, it's mindfulness. When you eat with awareness, your body tells you everything. It tells you when to slow down, when to stop, when something is nourishing or just numbing. The monks never counted calories. That's a modern obsession. They counted clarity. How clear is your breath after eating? How steady is your focus? How peaceful is your rest? This is the standard. Not the number on a scale, but the quality of your energy. For seniors, this kind of attention becomes even more valuable. The body may grow quieter with age, but its messages become sharper. Meals can be turned into meditation, not through effort, but through presence. A soft gaze, a slow breath, a grateful heart. This is mastery, not control, but connection, not rules, but rhythm. Let your food nourish not just the body, but the mind that observes it, the spirit that thanks it, the silence that follows it. Eating this way changes something, not just how you digest, but how you live, with more calm, more grace, more truth in every small act. The body speaks long before it breaks. A slight heaviness after a meal, a restless night, a sudden dip in energy. These aren't random, they're whispers, quiet messages, warnings from within. In the Shaolin way, this is where training begins. Not with fighting, not with forms, but with listening. Tuning in so precisely that even a small shift in energy is noticed and respected. When you eat something that doesn't suit you, the body never hides the truth. It bloats, it slows, it tightens, not to punish you, but to teach you. The modern world teaches us to override these signs. Take a pill, push through, numb the discomfort. But that delay has a cost. What starts as a whisper becomes a shout, a pattern, a diagnosis. Discipline is not just about what you eat, it's about when you choose to respond. Early wisdom prevents late regret. The elders who live with vitality into old age are not always the strongest or most educated. They are the ones who paid attention, who adjusted gently, who didn't wait for suffering to be the teacher. In ancient medicine, prevention was the highest skill. Healing was a last resort, because the wise don't chase recovery, they walk with awareness. So when the body speaks, pause, feel, reflect. Did the food serve your clarity? Did it respect your rhythm? You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be present. Learning to hear the whispers before they become pain. That is real mastery, and it's available in every moment you choose to listen. In the old teachings, digestion isn't just a body function, it's fire, not symbolic fire, but real inner heat. The warmth that transforms food into energy, that breaks down the dense and turns it into clarity. This fire is sacred, it's your center. When the fire is strong, life flows, thoughts are clear, movements are light, sleep is deep. But when that fire weakens, everything slows. The body holds what it should release, the mind grows dull, the will loses its edge. And often it's not one big mistake that dims the fire, it's daily habits, small choices, poor combinations, heavy meals at the wrong hour, cold drinks on an empty stomach. For seniors, this becomes more serious, not because the body is broken, but because it's more sensitive. The fire burns lower, but deeper, and that means it must be protected. Every decision around food becomes a decision about energy. Do I want to feed my fire or smother it? Do I want clarity or comfort that fades? In ancient monasteries, meals were timed with the sun. Cooked foods, warm broths, no overloading, no random mixing. It wasn't about tradition, it was about preserving the fire. This fire isn't just physical, it's tied to purpose, to discipline, to drive. Guarding your fire means guarding your ability to act, to focus, to live fully. So choose with intention. Eat in a way that keeps you steady, not stuffed, light, not scattered. Let food be fuel for something greater than appetite. Let it serve the spirit that still wants to grow. Because when your fire stays lit, age doesn't bring weakness, it brings power, quiet, steady, and unmistakably alive. Shaolin meals are quiet. No noise, no rush, just simple ingredients, chosen with care, seasonal, local, alive. They are not designed to excite the tongue, they are meant to support the body and calm the mind. This isn't deprivation, it's balance. In the temple, balance is everything. Not too hot, not too cold, not too much, not too little, just enough to nourish, never enough to distract. The modern world doesn't understand this. It craves stimulation, layers of flavor, endless variety, snacks between meals, dessert after every bite. The senses are constantly pulled, always reaching, never resting. But here's the thing, stimulation drains energy. It agitates the nervous system. It clutters the mind. For the aging body, this noise becomes heavier. The system doesn't process chaos like it used to. The digestion slows. The recovery takes longer. The mind becomes unsettled. Simplicity is not a punishment. It's a return to rhythm, to harmony, to the wisdom of enough. A bowl of steamed vegetables, a spoon of warm rice, a sip of herbal tea. Not just food, but a pause, a practice, a way to listen inward while feeding outward. This is where vitality is restored, not in excitement, but in stillness, not in excess, but in restraint. The spirit thrives in quiet places, and the body follows. So the discipline here is not rigid control, it's gentle refinement. removing the unnecessary so the essential can be felt. Seniors don't need louder meals. They need meals that speak softly but clearly. Meals that support clarity,